Hello, everyone. I hope y'all have been having a wonderful weekend. Mine has been a little busy, as have the last couple of weekends, actually. Hey, Terry. Howdy. I thought I had everything set right, but I'm still having to adjust some things. All right, so in case we start having trouble on one platform or the other, I've got a live going on Instagram as well as TikTok. So either place there. Give it a few more minutes. So, you know, as I always like to start, y'all just, what were your thoughts on this book? What were your thoughts? Billion, I can't even talk. Billionaire Grumpy Grinch by Cami Calvin. This was the first book of hers that I read, so I like reading new authors. That's always fun to learn somebody else's like writing style. It's pretty cool. Um, I thought it was a good book. I thought the spice level was good for the genre of book it was supposed to be or is. Um, I will say I did have some concerns in the beginning because, well, Gabe stuck his foot in his mouth. Yeah, and I kind of bounced back and forth with her because I got where she was coming from, but then there was also like, can we move past the whining? I just I kind of felt like once she told him how he overstepped, yeah, she definitely could have chilled a little bit with that. It almost made me really dislike her. But then once like Lexi and Gabe finally called her out on it, I was like, okay, finally we can move past this. Um, I also found it, which I realized this is a book, and you could do practically anything in a book. It was so just like magical how the shed seemed to have everything they needed to fix the window. I was just like, okay, okay. That that's my mind thinking these things. So from the beginning, we shall start. I did like how she and her brother were both trying to keep the tradition going of spending the holiday at the cabin with each other. Yes, it was indeed a Christmas miracle. So I definitely like that, and I guess that's kind of where like I said, I get where she was coming from, why she was so upset at the beginning. Because I think we all do that. We all try, if there's like a family tradition, and we lose loved ones, we try to keep that tradition going, even though it's different without them. But you want to keep it going in their honor, and just to still have that connection to them. So see, I even made a note about the I'm not sure how I feel right now. And I think this was like, I was 2 chapters in. I'm not sure how I feel right now. Is he being a jerk? Sure. Is she overreacting? Possibly. So I was, and it was almost like when her reaction to what Gabe said, I was kind of like, oh, please don't do this. Please, or at least get it over with quickly. And while it did not happen quickly enough, yeah, yeah. It seemed like he would have, and you almost want to say that maybe Dean didn't realize just how much it meant to Jenna. I mean, he had to have. So I'm like you. He could have definitely been a little more informative for Gabe's sake. So, and that would have saved everybody a whole lot of drama. Uh, wait. The car ride where, so whenever Lexi and I forgot, Jenna are driving up, and Lexi keeps getting the text messages. So the first time that happens, was anybody else like, ooh, she's hooking up with Dean? There, yeah, her and Dean are, yeah, that's what's happening there. Yeah, it's almost like Dean could have told Gabe how much it meant to Jenna. He also could have told Jenna what Gabe was going through before the two even met. I don't know. Yeah, that could have. I think it could have been handled way differently. I thought that right away too. I was like, okay, she's being way too secretive for this to be someone that Jenna doesn't know. And then, not just that, there were a lot of kind of like hints. Um, when they go to get the groceries, Lexi and Dean, when they go to get the groceries, and Jenna makes a comment. I wondered to myself what in the world the two of them would talk about. They had absolutely nothing in common. Who said they were talking? Who said they was going to be talking? I, I did like how quickly the story moved along, though. So it's not. It wasn't even really like a slow burn. It was more of like a, I have to set these things in place. Have to make these two people leave. I've got to, get the forecast of the snowstorm coming. I got to make sure everybody sees the gray clouds in the sky and that kind of thing. But all that happened rather quickly because it's like by chapter 7, you know, the storm is coming, the roads are blocked, they're alone. And I felt really nervous for Gabe when he went out in the storm. Um, to try to find something to fix the window, and luckily found food out in the shed as well. Which I mean, they're in Georgia, so I mean there's nothing weird about that, and I guess there's nothing weird about all that stuff being in the shed. It just seemed convenient that everything he needed was in the shed. It- and then one other thing that crossed my mind. Here we are. And he tells Dean as to why he's going to stay behind while Dean and Lexi go get the food. He knows how to prep a house, but you didn't. You didn't. It was almost like it was hours later, and the window gets busted out. Now, or did you mean if something happens, you know how to fix it? See, we were going to the same place at the same time. Yes, I was just like, you, but you said that you knew how to prep a house. I mean, if anything, you would think as soon as they left, he would have been outside looking around, checking out the shed and seeing what all was in the shed, and maybe thinking, okay, well, let me go ahead and take some of this stuff up to the house in case something happens. It'll be right there outside the back door, and I won't about lose my life going out in a snowstorm. So, but like I said, it's a book, and you can do many things in a book that maybe normally would not be done in real life. Maybe, maybe, I don't know. And then there was the thing where I guess when Jenna asked Gabe if he knew, right? Cover the windows, you know, at least go out and put some salt on the steps. I mean, you don't know where you are. It's the first time you've been to this place. And that's another thing. If this is the cabin that they used every time they went, if this is the same cabin, shouldn't she have been aware of what was in the shed? But then again, I guess not, because that too kind of irritated me a little bit, that she wasn't even familiar with the things that were in her room. But I guess but that was her parents' room. But even though it being her parents' room, you would still be like, of course, certainly she had to go in there once or twice. Yeah, it's actually didn't know about the radio. That concerns me. Wait, what? Type faster. And then yeah, the little game of strip poker. And I felt bad for him when you know, first of all, they both lost their parents, and then his breakup with Hannah, and I guess that all boiled down to he was just, I mean, and he said it, he was a workaholic. He was rarely ever home. And I did get a little tickle with myself about the it, maybe it was just me, but when they finally, you know, gotta be careful what I say. When they finally come to terms with each other, they get into the name calling and such, and I was just like, mm, I don't know if it was, he just didn't strike me as that kind of character it didn't feel right to me. It felt really awkward to me. So every time that happened, from there on out, I was like, okay, just read through it. Just read through it. Just me. Okay. I think I lost everybody. And I did think and building the snowman was cute. Okay, and then um when Dean and Lexi finally make it back, and Gabe comes down the hallway dressed in nothing but garland, that was hilarious. That was funny. I know. Don't bring her up. Why would you do that? I, that would be like a major turnoff. I'd be like, okay, if we're here about to do this and she's on your mind, yeah, that's mm-mm. I didn't like that one bit. And I've got a note that apparently something made me laugh on this page, and I don't know what it was. Oh, I think that's when she thought he he was fixing to ask her to marry him. That tickled me. I was like, darling, And I think it was sweet of him that he offered to pay off her student loans and stuff. That was super nice. And then, like I said, whenever Dean finally met, another thing that I thought about because I just saw this note, she was so worried about telling Dean that um she had slept with his best friend, even with the possibility that she felt like it was probably going to be, she felt like there was more to it than just that. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, honey, he's banging your best friend. So what's the matter? What's wrong with you doing the same? But then you get the whole familial bond. They're brother and sister. So it's a little. I can see where it would be a little different. Yeah, and then I turned to find Gabe standing in a Santa hat with a garland wrapped around his. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. And then I got irritated with Dean. Then I got really irritated with Dean because it's like, I guess like what I was just talking about with Jenna, her being worried about Dean's reaction. Well, we see his reaction, and that's his sister, so I can kind of understand it. But then it's kind of like shoe on the other foot. You getting upset about him, but y'all never once thought about how Jenna would feel about you and Lexi. So I'm like, dude, really? I didn't make a lot of notes on this, except for this, where I was like talking about Dean. Yeah, I got really upset with him there towards the end. Although it was sweet when he, after him and Gabe got done talking, when he went back in and proposed to Lexi. Of course, whenever Lexi and Jenna were talking during all this, Jenna was like, "Oh, okay, great. You're with my brother. That's super great." She was relieved. And I guess I don't know. Maybe that's just another difference between men and women. It's almost like Dean kind of felt like Gabe had all these issues, which were kind of caused by a woman. I'm just saying. Some of them, not all of them, because that workaholic thing was his own fault. That was all him. So yeah, I didn't make a whole lot of notes in this book. I don't think I did when we did whatever book we did for last Christmas we did Bloody Kingdom. Exactly. The tradition could stay. They could start making their own traditions. She really, because she didn't feel like she had to explain to Lexi why all these things were important. And then that was, that would have been conversations she would have had to have if it were some other female. So it's a load off of her, and I was happy for her with that as well. So, like I said, boy, that was. I liked it. I didn't hate it. There were a couple of things that kind of irritated me a little bit, and I guess that's normal in a book. There's some things that's gonna, yeah, and I guess if it doesn't, in a way, you're not really connecting with the characters or the story. So I connected. I got irritated a few times. I was happy a couple times. I was, you know, trying to do the math in my head about how some of these things were working out. Like with the shed, magic shed, apparently. I don't know. So, are there any other topics on this book that we need to discuss? The epilogue was sweet. They got married. I think, if I remember correctly, Jenna and Lexi are pregnant at the same time. So yeah, I was kind of, like I said, I was thrown off by the whole daddy thing because I did not feel like Gabe's character was really, I don't know, alpha enough for that. I mean, he was alpha for sure. I wasn't feeling it in that with him. I was just like, mm-mm. But that's just me. That's just me. So, what do you want to talk about now? That was almost like too short. Did I miss covering anything? We could do, I don't know, Q&A. I was when it first happened, I was kind of, I had the book like this, and when it first happened, I was like, it was one of those moments where I was just like, I don't, no. But we dealt with it. I mean, I could see Jenna, you know, being willing to do that kind of thing. I didn't, yeah, I wasn't feeling that from Gabe. And it's almost like, I guess because from the beginning of the book, he never gave off that persona. And I was just like, where did this come from? Yeah. It threw me off a little bit. So every time that happened throughout the rest of the book, I just kind of had to like, yeah, it didn't fit him. It really did not fit him. If there had been, like I said, if from when he was first introduced to us, if shortly thereafter we had started maybe getting hints, like whenever he was having thoughts about Jenna, if we had gotten hints then about what he was into, it would have been a little more smooth. And instead, it was almost like we just got like slapped in the face with it. And I was like, yeah, I was slapped in the face with. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, it was a good read. Yeah. Will I read more by her? Probably. I guess it just kind of depends on what pops up. I don't know. Um, I have started writing. I am a little ways into what I'm calling chapter 8. And like I was telling y'all last time we talked about it, I'm kind of at a point where the storylines, or I guess sub storylines, I don't know, that I started are coming together, and I'm trying to figure out, when two particular people meet for the first time, how intense do I want that to be? Do I want it, I feel like if I make it too intense, it's going to be hard to kind of calm it down from there. So I got to kind of try to find that that spot where I want to be. Okay, it's intense, but we can move on from here so that we can be more intense with it down the road. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a just to kind of give you a general idea of what I'm going for. It's a paranormal romance, fated mates. Um there are, I don't know if you'd want to call them warriors or what, but there's a group of vampires, and then they deal with rogue vampires, they deal with hunters, um, and then we've got this one character that's a little different. I feel like if I leave things where I stopped, I feel like if I leave it right there and keep going at that level, that I may miss an opportunity for something more down the road. So I'm almost tempted to kind of ratchet it back a little bit. Um yeah. It, it's almost like it's been a crescendo so far to get all of these characters together, but I don't want these two to meet and have this big intense moment, and then it just kind of fizzle as the story goes. That cannot happen. So I am constantly rereading and replaying that moment in my head, and trying to like lay it all out, and I don't know. I'm seriously thinking I'm probably gonna dial it back a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Just enough. And maybe kind of see it, because I mean I realize I don't want to get so far in that if I want to go back and change it down the road, that it ends up me having to fix things from that point all the way through. It's almost like I'd rather fix it now and then, you know, build it from there. See, that's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about dialing this moment back. I mean, yes, I want it to have a certain amount of uh-oh, to it, but I don't want it to be so much that it gives too much away, that it leads too much to where this is going to go down the road, kind of thing. So I'm probably going to end up dialing it back, and I'd rather do it now. Like I was saying, I'd rather do it now than to do it down, further down the story, and then end up having to rewrite so much of that story that I just, mess up everything. I haven't made up my mind about that, but I'm not so far into it that I couldn't make it a novella. And if I do a novella, I could probably sort of maybe leave this moment the way it is, but if I want it to be longer, I should probably dial it back. So maybe I need to make up my mind about that first. Hmm. Yeah. So I guess I'm thinking, I mean, I have no idea a word count or anything like that. I'm thinking maybe at least I could probably push this to 30 chapters. I don't know. So you missed it because yeah, that was a very short discussion on the book that we read for book club. Oh, I'm sorry. We could hit on it. I mean, I think mainly I enjoyed the book. I thought it was a good book. Um, I got a little irritated with the whining. I think we were all a little questioning why Dean didn't fill Gabe and Jenna in a little bit more about the others' uh history or love of the cabin. Um, we're both a little. I say both. Well, me and Terry were, concerned with the whole daddy kink. Yeah, and I think that's probably why I think we went through it in what, like 20 minutes we talked about it. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't bad. You know, it wasn't it wasn't bad. So, we're just kind of doing a Q&A kind of thing. Anything y'all want to share with me? Anything y'all want to ask me? Terry and I were discussing my writing project and have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. It's just like this world that's been living in my head for so long. Um I haven't actually written anything. I was telling her, I'm a little ways into what I'm calling chapter 8. I haven't actually written anything in probably like about a month. I have gone in and made some adjustments here and there, wording, that kind of thing. Um, so yeah, I'm still kind of at a standstill, trying to decide uh what to do with this moment I have brought myself to in the story. And I guess in order to really decide, I'm gonna have to make up my mind just how long I want this thing to be. And that's not a bad idea, but I just don't know if I could keep that going. I don't know if I could do that. There's lots to think about, and lots to consider, and it really does make you appreciate all the work and effort that so many people put into writing their books. It Yeah, when you the researchers, I haven't done a whole lot of research. I think, I'm looking up definitions or, you know, um like synonyms, similar words, and I guess right now I'm trying to kind of keep it where I'm not just overloading the reader with things. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and there's part of it that's like, okay, if if and when I get this done, do I want to hold it and then, go back and fluff it up a little bit, give it some muscle, give it some tone, whatever you want to call it, beef it up some. So I don't know. There's so many things to consider. I think right now what I want to do is get it out, get it written, get the words on paper somewhere where I can look at it and decide from there. And I guess I don't know. Like I said about the novella or a full book. I guess it's really going to depend on where it takes me. Yeah. So we shall see. So oh my. Any more questions? So I will tell y'all this. I don't know if all of y'all saw, but how many folks have read The Sinner? Because I don't want to do spoilers. I finished that the other night, and I did a post about it. Um, blew my mind. Blew my mind. It made me question some things about myself. I'm I'm going to say, yeah, you gotta check Content Trigger because there are so many things. And can you really say it was written tastefully? It was almost like you feel every emotion that these two characters are going through. You feel every bit of it. And I think that's why those who have read it get so wrapped up in it because from the very first page you feel every emotion. Whew. Yeah, I'm sitting here getting chills. So I will recommend it. I absolutely will. Um, you've been on my mind since I started the actual on the keyboard, and as soon as I get a little more, I'm gonna send it to you. Um, but yeah, I will recommend the center, but I will also highly recommend that you check content trigger warnings. I don't always do that, and even if the author has them at the front of the book, sometimes I just gloss over it. I'm talking about the center. Um, oh, uh-oh. Well, I may not be the fastest at it, but I'm willing if you need me. Um, I trying to see. I'm just trying to talk books. Let me look around. This isn't all my books, y'all. I have a spare bedroom, and I guess I'm kind of waiting on the motivation to hit me. Um, I'm gonna turn it into a spare bedroom slash library. But before I try to put all my books in this one room, I really want to paint it because the walls are that kind of beige, khaki color, I guess you'd say. But I'm gonna paint it, so that might be a over the holidays kind of thing for me. So let me see what I got. What I got we can talk about. I read Priest. I finally read that, and it was all over the place. You couldn't like scroll through TikTok without somebody talking about it. I liked it. I really liked it. But I kind of felt like after the altar scene, it was all just kind of the same stuff. Oh, honey, don't see. Whenever we were doing it the first time, I hope I didn't make you feel that way because that is just wrong. You don't do that to people. That can be heartbreaking because you pour so much of yourself into this stuff, and yeah, I hope that works out for you, honey. I just since I've got you here, and I've got it right here. Have y'all read this? Has anybody read this? Anyone? Anyone? If you haven't, you need to go read it. It's a great little book. You really should. It's on Kindle, right? Yeah, I believe this is on Kindle. So, for all of you who are here, My Saving Grace, Terry Romero, go read it. And you over here, same. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I've been I probably mentioned this before, but I do a um screen record for so I'll have a decent video to upload to YouTube for all the book club stuff on there. And the cameras on my phone and my tablet are vastly different. I look like over here on my tablet, I look sick. So if you're over here watching me, I apologize. It makes me question things. But yes, y'all go read that. Also, y'all know I don't do a TBR, right? So I set myself a 2023 TBR, which means, I got the whole year to read. I want to read this entire series. Stacey Marie Brown's books. I think the Darkness series, the Collector series, the Lightness Saga, and the Savage Land series. I want to read all of those. Um, I saw a video she posted where she kind of explained the timeline, and I was like, okay, I have to start at the beginning. I have to start at the beginning. I just have to. That's just me, which is why whenever I read like book one of a series, and then I do, however far into the series I get, I'm always going to tell you, hey, you can read this as a standalone, but you really should go back so you can understand these characters. I have not read that. I have not. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things, but I don't know. I think sometimes I get intimidated by big books like that, and yeah, I'm looking. Y'all, hold on. I haven't read that. Well, of course, I'm always going to highly recommend Never Altage's Perfectly Imperfect series. So good, so good. And then if you like shifter romance, um, Southern Werewolf series is really good. And then Kaylee King's, isn't this the cutest thing? I found that at Hobby Lobby. It's adorable. Kaylee King's, I gotta look at the name of the series. White Wolf Prophecy. Loved every one of those. Loved them. See, that's what's gonna happen to me if I get bored at any point in it. I hate DNFing books. I hate it. But sometimes you just gotta, because I feel like if I'm having to force myself to read it, I'm damn sure not gonna enjoy it. I'm looking, still looking, y'all. Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Roberts. Anybody read that? I've got it. I just haven't read it yet. That was my husband took me to Barnes and Nobles and Hobby Lobby for my birthday back in October, and that was one of the books I got. And I got uh the Sierra Simone books, Priest, Sinner, Saint. I got something else. Oh, Nine Kinds of Naughty. I started this book. Jeanette Gray, yeah. It's an office romance. He's the he's her personal assistant, and I didn't get very far into it. But look how thick it is. Look how thick that book is. And then look how tiny. I do that too. And it's aggravating because you read so much, and then some books kind of start blurring together. Yeah. And then it's like, yes, Goodreads definitely helps with that. And I think I've only been on Goodreads like a year, maybe a little over a year. I kind of wish I'd found that sooner. But yeah, if anybody has read this Nine Kinds of Naughty by Jeanette Gray, let me know if it's worth all the pages and the tiny print, okay? Or I could just read it in KU and then I'd never know how many pages it actually was. Huh. Okay. Well, yeah. And let's see. I started a book last night, Make Me by Summer O'Toole. Y'all. Mm. I was actually sitting here uh before I hit the go live button reading it. So I'm almost done with it. So that review will be coming, but let me tell y'all something right now. That's a good book. That's a good book. All right, guys. January book club. I don't know if we want to do a theme since it's the new year. What do y'all think? Do we need a theme? Because December it was easy to do the holiday theme, but I mean, January might be a little harder. Do we want something paranormal? Do we want you know, do we want mafia, small town? Uh, I am always good with mafia. I am always good with mafia. We could do mafia, and of course that always leads to the arranged marriage, enemies to lovers. We could do a motorcycle club because I have seen a lot that have piqued my interest. We've never done one of those for book club. Let's do that. Let's go with motorcycle club. I know there's some good ones out there because I've seen a lot where I've been like, hello. So yeah, I'll dig into MC romances. Ooh, double yes. I like that. If y'all know of any shifter motorcycle club, tag me. Send it to me in the DMs, however you want to do it. Yes. Seems like I've seen something like that too. I will yeah, I'll be looking in the they should be easy to find those. Um so next weekend is Christmas and then the weekend after that is New Year's. Um I will probably I'm gonna go I'll post the options video New Year's weekend. That'll keep with the timeline. And yeah, that's what we'll do. Shifter Motorcycle Club romance. Good times. That's why I have this pen and paper here. Not that I'll forget, but I'll forget. Oh, I'm writing too fast. Everybody's shaking. So yeah, if y'all see some or know of some, send them to me. Let me check them out. Indeed. Merry Christmas, everyone. I appreciate y'all joining me tonight. Appreciate y'all letting me ramble about stuff. And we'll get ready to do it again soon. Y'all have a wonderful Christmas. Happy holidays. Be safe. Hug the ones you love. Night, y'all.